Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I welcome you all to the online English session. I hope all of you are safe and at home. Let's get started, children. Today we are going to see about the poem The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. Here are a few things which you need to know about Robert Frost. He was born on March 26, 1874, and he died on January 29, 1963. His famous works include A Boy's Will and North of Boston. He is a British writer and his occupation was full-time writing. Let's get into the poem. Now you can see two pictures. Now tell me what is similar in both these pictures. Yeah, two pictures are having persons who find it difficult to choose what they want. Now all of us would have encountered some situation in life where we found it difficult to choose. So here also, author has been given some decisions in which he has to choose. The Road Not Taken. As the title suggests, you can see the poet has chosen something which is unique and less frequently opted. But this time it is not products but the lifetime decision. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So you can see the author says two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Here the two roads represent the choices from which the author has to choose. So two choices, two roads diverged. Diverged means split. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Wood, is a forest. The forest is yellow. Why? Because of the season. During autumn season, you can see dried leaves falling down, making it look yellow. So two roads diverged in a yellow wood. And sorry, I could not travel both. The I represent the poet here. The poet says he could not travel both. So travel both is he cannot take two choices. He cannot accept both the choices at the same time. And be one traveler. He calls himself as a traveler. Why? Because he has represented his choices as roads. The one who is going along the choices or along the roads, so he calls himself as a traveler, and the path in which he is moving, he represents it as travel. So, and be one traveler. Long I stood. So he is standing there in front of the diverged roads for a long time. Why do you think the poet is standing there for a long time? And looked down one as far as I could. So he is standing there and looking at the road as far as he could. So when we are given two things and we have to choose one, we take a careful look about the thing so as to choose which is the best. Similarly, the author is taking his time. For a long time he is standing there, he is carefully looking at the roads, deciding about which road to be taken. Here the roads represent the choices. He is analyzing the choices, just paying attention carefully to what all the experiences will the path lead to. So he's looking down one as far as he could. Till the vicinity he is taking a look, which means he is not paying attention to the effect of the decision in the near future, but also on the long run. To where it bent in the undergrowth. Undergrowth means bushes, dense bushes. So until the road is vanishing into the bushes, he is carefully analyzing the roads. He is not literally analyzing the roads, but he is carefully deliberating which choice he has to make. He is thinking about which choice he has to make. So, in the first stanza, if you look, the rhyming words are would, stood, could. So, they had been given the same name A. And both the undergrowth rhymes and they have been given the name B. The rhyming scheme of the stanza is A, B, A, A, B. The next stanza, then took the other just as fair. So the first road he has just checked in the first road. Now he comes to option B, the road number 2. He says that the road number 2 was equally fair. Fair means justified. Both the roads are having equal amount of weightage. None of the road is less of importance or none of the road is too much important, which means a decision I'm saying. So both the roads had equal amount of importance. So both were just as fair and having perhaps the better claim. So he's saying the other road was equally fair and it was having a better claim, which means the author wants the second road. He says that it is having a better claim. He is feeling the second road is even more appealing to him than the first road. He likes the second road better than the first road. Why? Because he says it in the third line, because it was grassy and wanted wear. The author is justifying his liking towards the road number 2 because it was grassy. He says that I like the road because it was grassy and wanted wear. We must understand that here the path is grassy. When would the road be grassy, children? Only when nobody has walked on it, the path would be grassy. So and wanted wear, which means that when the author saw the second road, he was feeling as though the grasses and the road was longing for somebody to walk through them. Okay, so he liked the second road better. And he says, though as for that passing there had warned them really about same. So he says that even if he is taking the second path, which is grassy and nobody has trodden, he says that both the roads have equal amount of challenges regardless of whether it has been trodden or not. Trodden means walked. He says that even though the roads are frequently used or less frequently used, the challenges which the roads are going to give are equal. So it is going to be really the same. Understood, children? The rhyming words I have mentioned, fair, where, there. They are given the name A. Claim and same are named as B. The rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, A, A, B. We'll move on to the next stanza. And both that morning equally lay. In leaves no step had trodden black. So he's telling both the roads were equally there and there were no step which has been trodden. I told you trodden means walk and no steps had trodden black. The leaves had not turned black because nobody has walked on it. When you walk on a leaf, we trample the leaves, making it to rot. The color of the leaves changes to black. So he says that nobody had walked on the road. Oh, I kept the first for another day. So he is more concentrated on the road number 2 and he says that he's going to keep the first road for some other day. Now, all of us would have had the experience of doing online shopping. So we see lots of things and we add them into the cart. But when we proceed to check out, we buy only certain things. We leave the other things in the wish cart, believing that we'll come and buy it some other day. Similarly, the author The poet keeps the first road in his bucket, believing that he'll come and experience the first road some other day, yet knowing one way leads on to way. So the poet very well knows if he has started pursuing to move along one direction, along one decision, there can be no coming back. Why? Because the new path itself have so many other paths. There's so many other paths and so many other decisions will be have to made in the path which he has selected. So he cannot come back. He knows that how way leads on to way. He says that the path which he has taken itself will have so much of options and decisions to be made. And I doubted if I should ever come back. He says that whether should I even come back, because I would have made so many decisions. I cannot revert them and come back. So he is saying, I doubted if I should ever come back. The rhyming words of these stanzas, lay, day, way, they're given the name A. Black and back are named as B. The rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, A, B. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So the poet says, I shall be telling this with a sigh. After he has taken a decision, after he has lived for a long years, now he would be he would be sharing his experiences with others with a sigh, with a sense of relief. He would be saying, somewhere ages and ages hence, after some years, he'll be sharing the story of his decision with others with a sense of relief, with a sigh. Two roads diverged in a wood. He would start and tell the story like this. There were two roads, two decisions in my life, which I took this second road. I took the one less traveled by. He says that there were two roads and I chose the less traveled by road, and that has made all the difference in his life. Now he is here because he had taken the decision. He had opted the road which was less traveled by. The rhyming words of this stanza is Sigh, I, by, which are given the name A, and hence in difference the name B. So the poetic devices are symbolism. Here the two roads represent the choices which the poet had to make. Anaphora. Anaphora is words repeated in the beginning, words or phrases repeated in the beginning. So here and is repeated in the beginning of the lines 2, 3 and 4. Alliteration. Alliteration means consonant sounds appearing in the same line. Wanted, where. And the next poetic device is repetition. Words repeated throughout the poem. Ages and two roads diverged were repeated in the poem. So here is an interesting part of the poem.